We start our story with a bunch of students performing choreographed dance numbers, while one student watches from the sidelines. The song changes and the student sees a girl calling her to dance. He puts his hand on her waist and they dance together. The boy reaches out to kiss her while the other students watch his strange behavior. It turns out that the girl isn't actually there. When the boy realizes this, the girl reaches out to kiss him again. In an attempt to avoid this, the boy leans back only to fall to the ground and the students continue to laugh at him, mocking him for what he did. The girl is humiliated and yells at him as she starts to fall on him, but she quickly fades away in the process, revealing herself to be a ghost. Years later, the boy Modesto is a teacher who listens to a group of students rapping for him. At the end of their rap, they curse him out and dust him off with a duster, leaving his face covered in white powder. The principal watches everything from outside the classroom and decides to expel him. Modesto then visits his psychiatrist, who advises him to accept the fact that the dead are dead and buried underground. The psychiatrist's dead father, who had hanged himself, watches from the study, disappointed with his son's treatment. Later, Modesto makes his way through the streets, taking his pills. A runner passes by at a crosswalk. He shouts at him to warn him of an oncoming truck, but it is too late. The truck passes through the runner, revealing that he is also a ghost. Elsewhere, an English teacher is teaching Hamlet to his class and asks one of the students, Elsa, to read a scene from the book. He refuses to translate it as the bell rings, and his students walk by him even as he speaks. Later, while he is copying his book, Shakespeare's Hamlet, in the library, a skeleton is seen moving behind him. But when he turns around, the skeleton is still hanging on the edge of the bookshelf. When he turns around again, the skeleton is nowhere to be seen. It creeps up behind him, frightening him. Making a mess, the skeleton pressed the teacher's head against the copy machine and printed out a series of horrifying pictures of the man. The skeleton moved on its own, causing books and staplers to fly. One stapler sewed the teacher up, while the other books and staplers continued to attack him. The teacher was then thrown from the top floor of the building, while the skeleton watched from the window, laughing in amusement. The school's principal, Tina, then scolded a child for eating too much food, taking his biscuit and eating it herself while a man called her over. He was upset about his daughter's drawing for Mother's Day, where the mother was eating scraps, and demanded to meet the art teacher. Unfortunately, he had resigned last month along with the other 8 teachers. The man, Ottagui, being the only remaining member of the Parents' Association, offered to help, but Tina vehemently refused. Tina was then informed that her school's headmistress, Monforte, was waiting for her in the office due to rumors of the literature teacher's attempted suicide. The council president expressed the council's concern about the recent events unfolding at Monforte, but was not satisfied with Tina's reassurance. Otegui took care of Bettina, but the board president quickly silenced him and demanded that the school be run like a convent by the end of the semester. Sometime later, Tina interviews Modesto, who lies about being expelled from multiple schools, claiming that they are not good enough. Modesto is then assigned to Monforte. On his way to his first class, he asks out a girl standing outside the classroom, but she refuses and runs away. He then encounters a group of boys who lead him to the abandoned library. There he finds a group of students hanging around him, trying to intimidate him using the same tactics, such as using books, chairs, and a skeleton, but he quickly realizes that he can see them. Upon realizing this, Modesto runs away and finds memorial photos of the 5 students he encountered in the abandoned library. The students and Tina chase Modesto, but he manages to escape. Later that night, Tina waits for him at his apartment, who believes what Modesto saw and assures him that he is not mentally unstable. Modesto reveals the students he saw through the memorial photos, and also that one of the girls, Marivi, is pregnant. Tina confirms that she was indeed pregnant at the time of her death. Meanwhile, a group of students, Elsa being one of them, are playing with a Ouija board, trying to summon the ghosts that are already there. After playing for a while, Danny and Pinfloy scare them out of the room, but Elsa, not afraid of the tactic, stays. She starts chatting with Jorge, asking him how he died. Tina explains to Modesto that during her father's tenure, there was a birthday party and 5 of the students were in detention when a fire broke out. The fire alarm could not be heard due to the loud music playing, killing the students in detention. As she explains, they hear the screams of terrified students who Danny and Pinfloy chase with books and chairs. She begs Modesto to help her convince the dead students to leave the school, and that he is not crazy, which makes Modesto happy. Modesto is happy and gets rid of his pills, and also helps the runner cross the road on his way to Monforte the next day. He returns to the abandoned library to talk to the dead students, who are equally happy that someone has finally seen them, asking if they are more like him. He orders the students to leave the school, but they hang him upside down on a rock climbing wall. At his psychiatrist's office, Modesto begins talking to the dead father who hanged himself. Even the father is secretly pleased to finally be talking to someone, revealing that the ghosts they left behind have unfinished business, and they may already know it or find out later. He deduces that the students need to complete their senior year and graduate from high school in order to move forward, but only Angela is pleased, and she is the only one genuine enough to join in when Modesto begins teaching literature. The boys, frustrated, pull a nutcracker on Modesto. Otegui sees this and runs back the way he came. Modesto, who is icing his swollen part, retrieves a file on the students from Manuela, the school receptionist. They talk a little about Danny and his violent actions. After a while, Modesto plays songs for the students in the library, who are thrilled to learn about the 1,000-song cell phones. Modesto fills them in on what has happened in the world since their deaths. On the rooftop, the students reflect on the things they have missed, and everyone except Danny decides to pass and move on. While talking, Danny convinces Angela that she always wanted to join the opera but never did, as no one would hear them anyway. Unbeknownst to her, he turns up the volume on her microphone. The students, frightened by the ghostly voices from the speaker, run outside in terror, leaving Angela frustrated. Tension grows between Danny and Jorge. When Jorge goes to confront Danny for what he did to Angela, he retaliates by throwing the belongings of the living students and also breaking Elsa's computer. Elsa and Jorge continue to flirt with each other through the school computer. However, Manuela shows up, and upon finding the flirty texts, she starts relieving herself. The gang is practicing for tests when Danny shows up, answering one of the questions. At that moment, Tina also shows up with a problem of her own, and Danny mocks Modesto for obeying her like a dog. Elsa reveals that the university president will be attending the event at Otegui's invitation. Tina fears that she will lose her father's school if something goes wrong, and Modesto reassures her. Later, they hang out on the swing set, and Tina expresses her frustration to Modesto. As they talk, they grow closer. Tina asks Modesto to do something spontaneous, and they decide to dance, all under the watchful eye of the students. As she reaches out to kiss him, Modesto declines and runs away. The days go by as the students continue to learn, training in the gym, doing experiments, and eventually getting better at their studies. Jorge tells Elsa that he might be leaving soon, and Elsa asks if she should join him. It is time for the students to take their exams. Elsa shows up to wish Jorge good luck, and also tells them that she loves him and will see him soon. They take their exams, some by cheating, some by copying, and they all pass with varying grades. However, Danny leaves the questions blank, and gets a D, but Modesto raises his grade to a C- and passes it too. They see a white light and hold hands to climb into the sky, but only the sun's rays hit the window at an angle. When nothing happens, the students decide to wreak havoc. The students terrorize everyone, even the literature teacher who has just returned to school. He encounters the dead psychologist again, and thinks that they should accept who they are in order to leave. He runs to the school to find Tina, but Otegui and other parents besides Tina blame Modesto for everything and expel him. As he gathers his things from the abandoned library, he tells the students that they must finish their work and accept who they are in order to move forward together. During this, it is also revealed that Danny started the fire that killed them and that he was afraid of going to hell. Things also get worse between Modesto and Tina. Later that night, the friends watch a sad Danny staggering around alone. Modesto then goes to his psychiatrist, who offers him therapy, and also reveals that his deceased father has always been watching over him. He has not left yet, as he does not want his son to be alone. At school, Tina, who has been calling Modesto several times, hands Manuela a note to read aloud, asking the dead students to meet her in the abandoned library. There, she reveals that she misses him, just like the students, and wants him back. Manuela performs a voodoo ritual to rid the school of ghosts. As she is about to sacrifice a chicken, Pinfloy enters her body. The students then call Modesto and ask him to come to school, but they only succeed in convincing him after telling him that Tina loves him. Angela hands Marivi a letter that Marivi's friend Kaima accidentally put in her locker. Pinfloy steals the letter, which reveals that Kaima never wanted to marry Marivi, and asks her to forget about him. The three then embrace. It is Founders' Day. Otegui, Manuela, and Tina greet the council president, but Tina leaves upon seeing Modesto. The students apologize to Modesto and ask him to come back. Otegui is upset by Modesto's presence and is bombarded with soccer balls from the rooftop. Modesto stops the commotion, revealing that Otegui is Kima Marivi. He threatens Modesto, but Modesto decides to confront him about Marivi, who he left even though she was pregnant with his child. Inside the auditorium, everyone is asleep from the opera, so Modesto asks Angela to liven things up. She grabs one of the girls and performs an energetic song that gets everyone dancing and waking up again. Otegui interrupts the performance, and just as he is about to introduce himself to the principal, Danny takes control of his body and humiliates him in front of everyone. Jorge sees Elsa watching from the sidelines, not participating. Tina apologizes, and also tells everyone that they are bringing back an old tradition party. Danny apologizes to his friends, and they make up. Jorge goes to look for Elsa, who has drowned in the pool. Elsa opens her eyes and sees Jorge. He convinces her to live, and that he will meet her in the future. They kiss as she fades from Jorge to Modesto, who is trying to revive her. Modesto also tells her that Jorge misses her just as much as she misses him. Everyone has done their unfinished business, except for Pinfloy, who wants to go to Paca and enjoy the concert. Tina and Modesto dance, and as they are about to kiss, Marivi grabs Modesto. Pinfloy has a hangover. Marivi's baby starts kicking, and the lights start flashing as well. Modesto thinks it's their time. The gang holds hands. Tina also appears to hold Modesto's hand. They glow and flash, eventually ascending into the sky in a white beam of light, as Elsa, Tina, and Modesto watch from afar. In the end, Tina and Modesto finally share a kiss. The movie ends here. Thanks for being with us.